Well, hello, everybody. I am certainly glad that you're there and that I'm here because I'm probably going to say some things that's going to offend people, and I don't mean for it to be that way. But this one item that kind of crossed my thinking today, it's this idea of the profession of faith. You ever heard that phrase? But let me start off by talking about it like this. I have heard it said, and I think it was probably me. I'm guilty of everything that I talk to you about. I've been through and I've done, and I've repented and probably repeat. It's like the shampoo in the shower. Rinse, lather up, rinse out, repeat. That seems to be my. I don't get it sometimes, but I heard somebody say this one time. You give me enough time with somebody, I'll get them saved. And some people might listen to that and hear that, and they might go, "Well, that's bold. That's confidence. That's what that is." And yeah, it could be, but it also could be this, because I know of my own experience. It could be just a cocky, arrogant activity going on there. I mean, I used to believe certain things that, was just off, just terrible ways of thinking and doing. And in this case, of profession of faith and our evangelistic undertakings, we need to be careful in every aspect of this, because this is the call on all of us. It is for all of us to preach the gospel, to carry this message of God into all the world. And we need to do this proper and right. And we need to understand as evangelists that this undertaking that we are about is you and I are powerless to bring anybody to the saving faith that is necessary, and humility is the key. I mean, we might be able to encourage people to make this profession of faith, but is that really the goal? To see how many people answer our altar call, or how many people will sign that decision card that's in the back of the pew in front of them. How many people went to the prayer room today, or how many people raise their hands and when we give that call, I see that hand back there, and or how many people came to the altar and prayed this prayer after me, and how many people are coming to the new believers classes and made their professions of faith. Profession of faith is not the goal. And by the way, I'm not against any of these things that I just mentioned to you. But these things won't bring you to true faith for salvation. Anybody can make a profession of faith, but we are not justified or made right with God through a profession of faith. I mean, we are, though. We are justified by the possession of true faith. And if you have this faith, you are called to profess it. So it's not the profession of faith that we're about. Jesus warns us time and time again. He says, not everybody who says something they say out their mouth, not everybody who says to me, Lord, Lord. That sounds like a profession of faith. Not everybody who says to me, Lord, Lord, is getting into my kingdom. He also said something like this: this people honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. See, salvation True salvation now can only come to us by faith and faith alone. But it is not a faith that is a self faith or a faith that comes from within you. It is an alien faith. It is a faith and righteousness that is given to you, that's from outside of you. Well, who is this alien that you're talking about? It's God himself. He is the one that gives you this faith and this righteousness and this that justifies you and makes you right with him. Because you can't do it in and of yourself. You can't justify you. And here's one. The scripture says in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8, it says, by grace you've been saved through faith, and that not of yourself. It is a gift of God and not of works, lest any man should boast. So, if you are saved simply by your profession of faith, that's works. Well, what about Romans chapter 10? He says, with the heart one believes unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. What about that? Absolutely, that is true. But and it does say that in Romans chapter 10. But there's got to be more to this than just you saying you believe something, or just you saying out of your mouth, I profess faith. Got to be something else to this. Somebody might say, no, that's what it says. Well, again, if a profession of faith is the goal, then I think that we're off. See, that's not the goal. The goal is the possession of this faith. And then when you have this faith, you will profess it. You're going to tell people about it when it's real, because it's been given to you by God. All of this is to say that the Spirit of God, it's according to His will. I think about the time between Nicodemus and Jesus when this metaphor was explained by Jesus. Nicodemus said, how can these things be? How is it that a man can be born again or born from above? Jesus said, it is as the Spirit wills. He said, the wind blows where it wishes. The pneuma, the Spirit of God, blows where He wishes. You can't tell where it's coming from or where it's going, but you can see the effects of it. So then it's not forced professions of faith. It's not manipulated professions. It's not emotionally charged professions. These are not trustworthy experiences. This is why I think we have so many false conversions. They profess faith in Jesus, and then when it gets too hot in the kitchen, they wilt and they fall away. Or when the temptations of this life come, the deceitfulness of riches, they fall away. It's not real. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, and remember, profession of faith is not what we're looking for. It's possession of faith.